Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Hi, I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor. Happy New Year! Merry Christmas, Happy New Year! I haven't seen you guys since last year. You hear people say that little corny thing all the time. Yeah, I do too, but I think it's always fun to say. Well, it's a new year. What's someone doing there? It's a new year, and no, I did not relax my hair. So I didn't do another big relax, but I'm not saying that I'm not going to, but I didn't do one because I listened to you, and a lot of you said that you enjoyed the transition videos that I did before, the big relax before, and you didn't really want me to do it. Some of you said it would be great. Some of you had lots of suggestions. Well, the new year will bring a lot of new things, so we will see what happens. But for now, no. Okay, the other thing is I want to get to your questions quickly, and then I want to kind of talk about some things that are going to be coming up this year. The tour is definitely going to happen. Continue to send your suggestions. I know Houston wants us there, California, I think it was North Carolina. I think there were several. I've got a list of ones who've asked me to come. Those will be some I will consider greatly. If you have like groups that like a sorority or a church group or someone who wants to get involved with us helping to do some things to help your group when we come, we'll be more than happy to do that. Salons, definitely we will work with you guys as well. So just let me know, send me an email. The other thing, the pictures, I'm getting slowly but surely a few videos and pictures. I see some of the things on my, like now you guys are putting more of your pictures or images on the, when you give your questions or your response or your comments, and so I may include those. Just let me know if that's what you want me to do. But I'm most definitely going to put a list of all the people who have subscribed to me. If you don't want me to list you, please tell me, but since you've subscribed to me, I figure you would be okay with that. And I'm going to get right to your questions. So there's lots of things that are going to come up. You know, what I was just speaking of was my web page for my cyber family. And so putting your pictures on and your images and your names on my website. Okay, this first question, comment. Thank you. This video answered a lot of my questions. You're so helpful in so many ways. And then she said, LOL, holding your hair to the end was so funny. I know, that was just, my hair was just, I don't know. Anyways, this next person says, hi, Dr. Okay, my name is Akbari. That's okay, good try. It's so refreshing to get professional advice from someone who loves hair. And I do love working with my hair because I just want you to fall in love with your hair. I just want you to accept your hair, not be obsessed with it. Just accept it, love it, take care of it. It says, my question for you is I have natural hair that is waist length, and I have noticed that the longer it gets, the thinner the strands get. What can I do to thicken the hair strands without damaging my hair? Your advice is greatly appreciated. May God continue to bless you. Yours truly, Lynette C. from Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, Lynette. Okay, waist length hair, Lynette C. This is what you need to keep in mind. The longer the hair gets, the longer it's been on your head, the more wear and tear that it's had, more combing, more shampooing, more touching, more rubbing against clothes, things of that sort. What you can do is work with protecting and preserving the hair. You can't change the texture, which deals with the thickness of the hair. Once it's had what it sounds like, it's had a unnatural texture change, and usually, like I said, that's from wear and tear and aging. That does not have to happen. But since you're in a position where it has happened, you can stop it from happening with the other strands that are growing from your scalp. The hair grows at a certain texture, meaning size, from the scalp. You may have medium, coarse, even fine. When the hair is worn, the cuticle layer, which is the top layer of hair, when that cuticle layer is worn and thinned away, then the hair will get smaller. That you will lose the bulk of the hair, so of that particular strand. So you have what we call an unnatural texture change. The best thing to do is to avoid rubbing the hair against rough fabrics like wool and cotton and things like that. Just any fabric where you're rubbing it back and forth against that fabric. The other thing that you could do is pull the hair up when you know that you are wearing sweaters and coats and even cotton outfits. When you're wearing your nice smooth fabrics on your shirts and other clothing, then you can let your hair down. You can also get a scarf. There are kinds that drape over the shoulders that are smooth fabric that you can lay and let your hair rub against. That will help. You also want to treat and condition the hair on a daily basis, starting with the ends, flipping the hair forward, taking your hand, putting your hands between your hair between it, smoothing straight down, starting with your leave-in conditioners. I recommend our hair vitamin, then a moisturizer, sliding straight down. At night, make sure that you twist, but not so tight where it's hard to, you have to get a comb to remove it. Twist that hair and roll those ends so that the ends are always protected and preserved, because they're the oldest part of the hair and they tend to split and break. So you have to be careful, and when they do that, they will thin. So with that being said, those are some of the tips on that. We're going to do some more this year on long hair and protecting and preserving it and keeping it from having the texture change. The next one says, I love how she did not say for, I know, I don't do that. I just don't. Fine, medium, coarse. Kinky, our hair is. Slight kinky, average or medium degree of kinkiness, extreme degree of kinkiness. Okay, another one says, I have a question about using brown sugar as a scrub on my scalp. Is it okay to use it once a week to help dandruff? I notice my scalp itches less. Anytime you do anything that's going to cause a little bit of friction where you're removing top pollutants off the scalp that are beginning to solidify, then you're going to get some relief because that pore is no longer really clogged. But anytime you're causing friction, whether it's with brown sugar, I don't recommend it, or whether it's with any other type of rough fabric, whether it's a comb or whether it's a product, then what's going to happen, you could wear it through the epidermis and eventually wear into the dermis, where your pain receptors will begin to respond, and then you'll begin to have problems with an acceleration in your normal renewing process of the skin. In other words, the skin will peel and have more dandruff. So I don't recommend that at all. I recommend you do things like Prepoo, where you actually put shampoo on, clarifier on, massage it through with the balls of your fingers, and then put a plastic cap on, cotton around your head, and then make sure that you sit in a hot dryer for 10 and beyond until you start to sweat, and then shampoo again, and that helps to soften and lift it up. That's kind of one of those home detoxing treatments. It's kind of cool, and it works as well. Okay, so try that, and then always at that point, oil your scalp after you finish conditioning your hair while the hair is still wet, and that'll seal in some hydration so you won't be as dry. So try that. If the problem persists, you need to see a trichologist, and then they can determine what pollutant is flaking on your scalp, and then at that point they can recommend a dermatologist. Okay, the next one says, hello Dr. Akbari, I'm so glad you answered the question on keratin treatment. I have a friend that has now graduated from cosmetology school and has opened her own salon. Yay! Thank God, she deserves it. Yeah, that is so great. I'm always excited about new people coming into the hair care industry, especially those who are open to learning the correct way to do things. Let's see, keratin treatment. But I've been so fearful that it will convert to or alter my hair texture. Now I'm really considering letting her do it. Lots of hugs. Now I'm really considering letting her do it. Lots of love. Your girl. Yep, my girl, Nikki Love. It says, amen with everything you said in the video. It was so true and positive. I love you. I love you back. It would be so nice to watch you celebrate Christmas with your family around Christmas time. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Well, you know, guys, we may need to do that next year. Everybody may need to send their video of what happened around their family. I want to see yours. If you want to see mine, you're my family too. I want to see what you do. Okay? All right. So it says, and let me just kind of touch on that. Keratin, no, you guys go back and look at it. I want to make sure I get some more questions in. It says, hello, Dr. Akbari. You answered a question for me a while ago, and I thank you. I have another one for you. I have gray hair, a lot in the front of my head. I use the semi-permanent, but as you wash your hair, it washes out. I'm thinking about dyeing it. I used to dye my hair when I was younger, but it's been years. Wondering if you would recommend a product or dye that causes less damage. Can I use henna? Allergic to it, but the way will be dyeing it black, so I hope it won't be too damaging. Okay. This is what I'm going to say about color. When you color your hair, if you use a semi-permanent deposit, by the time it fades off, you're going to have new growth anyway. So if you dye or tint, which is I think she's speaking of, if you tint your hair, then tinting your hair, you're going to get a line of demarcation where the new growth is coming in about 4 to 6 weeks anyway. So by the time that color fades off, 4 to 6 weeks is the same, and it's less damaging. I recommend a semi-permanent deposit. And there's one called Compliments by Clairol, and I think they even make a new formula with that, but those work well. Also the vegetable rinses. Hennas work well, but you have to make sure you hydrate, because henna tends to be a little dehydrating. You have to deep condition after you henna. Next question. She says, I too have gray hair around the perimeter. I dyed them with a regular store-bought dye. Can you please type of vegetable? Yeah, I recommend, like I said, the vegetable rinse. I get one from the Middle East, but they're still under the umbrella of henna. I don't have any problem with you using henna, but they're just plant products. They're just dehydrated plants. And henna is not a problem. I like henna. The thing is, you have to hydrate afterwards, and that's probably going to be the easiest one for you to find. It says, hello, Dr. Akbari, Mrs. Matthews here. Hi, Mrs. Matthews. OM goodness. You are so funny in this video. Oh my goodness. I don't remember what I said. I laughed so hard. Thank you for the information on what you do with your little silver, I call them little white friends. That's what I talked about. They're not just silver, they're white. But anyways, I never thought to just do the hairline. Yeah, with vegetables. That's what I would highly recommend. I did have a wonderful Christmas. I hope you did too, Mrs. Matthews. I miss you, I miss you, I miss you. Okay, it says, hello, Dr. Akbari. You answered a question for me a while ago. I think you have another one. I think I just answered that one. It says, I too have, what am I doing? I just pushed back down. Okay, I have a suggestion. Do you have a PhD or MD? If not, please don't call yourself a doctor. Ah, okay. This is what, okay. I am not calling myself a doctor. I have, and let me just talk about this because I think this is real important. I've talked about this before, but you guys are my family and my friends, and I want you to know I am not a medical doctor. Never said I was. I am not a medical doctor. I am a certified trichologist. I went before the trichology board to defend my dissertation, which was on the embryo of the hair follicle. I have been in the industry since 1977. I started out as a shampoo girl. Wow. I am humble. What I love about what God did in my life, He made me humble enough to just say, hey, you are just like everyone else. And then He gave me enough in my career and in my business to say, hey, you are exposed to all these other things that the world just loves. Well, with all that being said, I'm just going to say this to you. I started out as a shampoo person. I went to a esthetician, licensed cosmetologist. Went to school to become a trichologist. Of course, forgot about the high school diploma. I went to school to become a trichologist, and I went before a board. I defended my dissertation. I spent a year on my research before I went before my dissertation, and I'm good. And this show is not about my credentials. If I start this is the last time I'm going to talk about it, because if I start this, then we're going to talk about your credentials, and we're going to go back and forth, and that's not what this show is about. I love you guys, and I love doing what I do. Call me on anything that I say. My daughter's in med school. I never would disrespect the medical field, but I don't want my field disrespected either. Okay? We're in this together. All right, moving on. Let's see. Hello, Dr. Akbari. I have a question about detangling. I've been natural for 15 months. Woohoo! Yay! I have a solid regimen. No moisture issues. Great. I remember you mentioning that the finger detangling was preferable to using a brush. I have fine strands that tangle easily. I tried finger detangling for more than a month, and I had fairy knots and tons of tangles. Is it okay to use a Denman D3? I go slowly from the ends to the roots on wet and conditioned hair. Okay, first you got to remember you got to follow the whole detangling technique. So send me an email, and then I'll send you the steps in writing. Second, if you're using a Denman brush and you're not playing tug of war and pulling your hair, then it's okay. I don't want you to detangle with the brush, because you can rip and tear. You're going to get the fairy knots, and that's what y'all call them, and I haven't figured out something better, so I just follow what you call them. You're going to get the little knotted hairs if you do not fully smooth through and make sure that the hair is not webbing or matting. You got to deep condition as well. So those are a couple of things. So send me an email, lisa@lisaakbari.com, and I will send you info on detangling properly, step by step, starting with hair inspection all the way down. Any of you can ask for that, and I'll send it to you. Great video, very informative. I just love you. I love you back. And you have such a doll face. Does that mean young? Okay, I accept that. Thank you. It says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. You are completely out of line and disrespectful. Oh, that's them talking about my... Okay, actually disrespectful. Let's go on. Let's go on. So that was it. Love you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We're going back to the book. The book. I will see you next week. I may do it another day since I skipped last week, on Ask the Hair Doctor. I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Goodbye.